The Grand Galactic Arena on Proxima Station was packed full. Beings from all corners of the universe had come to watch the fighting games that happened every 3 months. These games kept peace between the many different alien species. The arena, seats were filled with creatures of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Some had many eyes, others had scales, and a few even floated above their seats. Kang Taeho sat stiffly in his seat. He was the ambassador from Earth to the Galactic Council. His black suit was perfectly pressed, and his face showed no emotion, though inside he was very worried. The seat next to him was empty. His 10-year-old daughter, Jisoo, had gone to buy a snack 15 minutes ago and had not returned. The loud voice of the announcer boomed through the giant room. "Welcome all species to the 287th Quarterly Combat Trials." The crowd roared with excitement. The noise was so loud that some smaller species had to cover their hearing organs. Today we have fighters from 12 different star systems competing for glory and political favor. Taeho barely heard the words. His eyes scanned the crowd, looking for his daughter's small figure in the blue dress she was wearing. He had told her not to go alone, but she had insisted she was old enough. "And now we have something special." The announcer's voice grew even louder. "Our 8-time champion, the mighty rock of the Vectar Dominion, has made an unusual request." The main screens around the arena lit up, showing a massive creature with hard shell-like skin that looked like armor. Rock stood 7 feet tall and had 4 arms, each ending in sharp claws. His head was pointed with small eyes that glowed yellow. The crowd cheered for their favorite fighter. The Vectar species was known and feared for their fighting skills. Their home world had gravity twice as strong as Earth's, making them naturally stronger than many species. Champion Rock has used his right to personally select an opponent from today's audience. This announcement caused confused murmurs. Such a choice was allowed by the rules, but rarely used. Usually fighters were matched by weight, strength, and skill level. Taeho's attention was pulled from his search when he noticed security drones moving through the crowd. 2 sleek, floating machines with blue lights were heading toward a specific section, the Earth section. His heart began to beat faster. "The champion has selected a human," the crowd gasped. Then many began to laugh. Humans were seen as one of the weakest species in the galaxy. They had no natural armor, no claws, and came from a planet with low gravity. Most alien species thought humans were only good at talking and making art, not fighting. The main screen changed to show the security drones escorting someone small. Taeho stood up suddenly when he recognized the blue dress. It was Jisoo, his daughter. "No," Taeho shouted, but his voice was lost in the noise of the crowd. The screen showed Jisoo's face. She didn't look scared, which was strange. She looked calm as the drones guided her toward a large door that led to the preparation rooms below the arena. "The selected opponent is a human child," the announcer said, sounding surprised. "Name, Kang Jisoo. Age, 10, Earth years." More laughter filled the arena. Some species were shaking their heads. Others were making bets on how quickly the child would be defeated, or if she would cry before the match even started. Taeho pushed his way through the crowd, trying to reach the officials' box. This had to be stopped. It was against galactic law to force a child to fight. It had to be. He bumped into a tall, thin alien with purple skin. "Excuse me," Taeho said quickly, trying to move past. The alien looked down at him. "Your offspring has been selected. It is a great honor." "She's
just a child,"
Taeho replied angrily. The alien blinked slowly with 3 eyelids. "The rules are clear. A selection cannot be refused unless the chosen one is physically unable to enter the arena. Your species signed the Combat Trial Treaty 30 Earth years ago." Taeho finally reached the officials' box. Inside were representatives from the 7 oldest species in the galaxy. They sat on high chairs looking down at him with various sets of eyes, some glowing, others blinking. "This selection is invalid," Taeho said, trying to keep his voice steady. "My daughter is a minor under Earth law, and Galactic Code Section 42 clearly states that." "Ambassador Kang," interrupted a large, round creature with skin that shifted colors like an octopus. This was Bohr, head of the Games Committee. The Galactic Code also states that local customs prevail in neutral zones. Proxima Station is a neutral zone, and the combat trials follow ancient traditions that predate your species' discovery of fire. This is clearly a political move, Tejo argued. The Vectar delegation is trying to embarrass Earth after our trade dispute last month. In a recent meeting, Earth had refused to provide rare minerals to the Vectar Dominion at the price they demanded. The negotiations had ended badly with threats from both sides. Perhaps, said Bohr, his skin turning a deep blue, but it is within the rules. The selection has been made and registered. Then I offer myself as a substitute, Tejo said quickly. I volunteer to take my daughter's place. The officials looked at each other, communicating silently through subtle movements that humans could barely notice. Substitution is not allowed once a selection is registered, said another official, this one looking like a giant insect with compound eyes. The combat will proceed as scheduled. She'll be killed, Tejo shouted, losing his composure. The combat is not to the death, the insect-like official reminded him. It ends with submission, or when our systems detect that one fighter cannot continue safely. A vector against a human child is hardly safe, Tejo argued. At that moment, Tejo's communication device buzzed. He looked down at it. The message was from Earth Command, the secret organization that handled all off-world security matters. It was short. Do not interfere. Trust the process. Tejo stared at the message in confusion. What did they mean? How could they know what was happening here so quickly? And why would they want his daughter to fight? The announcer's voice boomed again. Competitors are now in preparation. Combat will begin in 15 minutes. On the main screen, the image changed to show Jisoo in the preparation room. She was being fitted with a simple white combat suit that would offer minimal protection. She still looked strangely calm. Tejo returned to his seat, his mind racing. Something was happening that he didn't understand. He took out his communication device again and typed a message back to Earth Command. Explain. The answer came quickly. Your daughter was not randomly selected, she was expected to be chosen. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Tejo looked at his device in shock, then up at the screen showing his daughter. What kind of plan? Involved sending a 10-year-old girl to fight an alien warrior? And why did Jisoo look so prepared, as if she had been waiting for this moment? Jisoo stood still in the white preparation room as machines moved around her. The walls were smooth and glowed with a soft blue light. The room smelled clean, like hospitals on Earth. Jisoo was not afraid. She had been in places like this before, though her father did not know that. A tall, thin alien with light blue skin approached her. This was Nim, an Arcturian who worked as the official fight supervisor. Nim had 4 arms and a long neck that bent forward when talking to shorter beings. Human child, Nim said in a soft voice. You understand what is happening, yes? You have been selected for combat by Champion Rock of the Vectar Dominion. Jisoo nodded. I understand. Nim looked surprised at her calm answer. Most beings selected from the audience would be crying or begging by now. Especially children. The combat is not to the death, Nim explained. It will end when one fighter submits or when our systems detect that someone cannot safely continue. You can surrender at any time by raising both hands and saying, I yield. I understand the rules, Jisoo said simply. Nim stared at her with large purple eyes. You are very young by human standards. Are all human children this brave? Or perhaps you do not understand the danger. Jisoo looked up at Nim. I understand the danger. A door at the other end of the room slid open with a hiss. A large figure stepped through, making the floor shake slightly with each step. It was Rock, the Vectar champion. His hard skin looked even more like armor up close. Sharp points stuck out from his shoulders and elbows. His yellow eyes narrowed when he saw Jisoo. This is my opponent? Rock's voice was deep and rough. His words came through a translator device on his chest. A human hatchling? This is an insult. Nim moved between them. Champion Rock, you made a random selection from Sector 3 of the audience. This was the result. The selection is valid and cannot be changed. Rock growled, a sound that made the air vibrate. I expected a warrior, not a small, soft thing that will break in seconds. There is no honor in this fight. Jisoo remained quiet, watching Rock carefully. Her eyes moved over his body, noticing things that others might miss. The way his left side moved slightly slower than his right. The small gap in his natural armor near the neck. The way his breathing changed when he was angry. Does the human child wish to forfeit before we begin? Nim asked, looking at Jisoo with something like hope in his eyes. It would be understood by all. No, Jisoo replied. I accept the challenge. Rock let out a sound that might have been a laugh. The small human has courage, at least, but courage will not save you from being crushed. Jisoo did not respond to the threat. Instead, she stood quietly as machines fitted her with a white combat suit. The suit was simple, offering basic protection against falls and small impacts, but nothing that would help against Rock's claws or strength. Your combat suit has been adjusted for human biology, Neem explained. It will help our systems monitor your condition. While the machines worked, Jisoo closed her eyes and remembered. She remembered the day 3 years ago when her mother had taken her to a special building deep underground in Seoul. She remembered the room filled with other children her age, all chosen for their quick minds and strong bodies. Your mother was one of Earth's first combat specialists. A stern-faced woman had told the children that day. You have been selected to follow in her footsteps. What had followed were years of secret training. While other children played games and went to normal schools, Jisoo and the others learned about alien biology, weak points and fighting styles developed specifically for humans facing much larger opponents. Jisoo's mother, Kim Sun-ah, had been part of Earth's first contact team 30 years ago. When humans discovered they were not alone in the universe, they also discovered they were considered physically weak by most alien species. Earth had kept its military programs secret while appearing friendly and harmless to the galactic community. Our strength is that they think we are weak, Suna had told her daughter many times. Remember that, Jisoo. It is our greatest advantage. Jisoo opened her eyes. A memory of her mother's words came to her mind. One day, you might be tested. Before we are ready to reveal ourselves. If that happens, you must decide whether to maintain our secret or to protect yourself. Another door opened, and a group of Vectar officials entered. They wore elaborate clothing that showed their high rank. They came to stand near Rock, speaking to him in their own language. Their words were not translated, but Jisoo could tell they were giving him instructions. One of the Vectars looked at Jisoo and made a dismissive gesture. Jisoo understood what it meant. They were using her as a political tool. By defeating a human child easily, they would shame Earth in front of the entire galactic community. Jisoo felt her communication implant vibrate slightly inside her ear. This was unexpected. The implant was supposed to be undetectable by arena security systems. A voice spoke directly into her mind, so quiet that only she could hear it. Operative Kang, this is Earth Command. Your father has been informed that this is planned. You have permission to proceed at minimum effective level. Repeat, minimum effective level only. Jisoo blinked once to acknowledge the message. Minimum effective level meant she should do only what was necessary to win, nothing more. She should not reveal all of humanity's secrets or capabilities. Nim approached her again. It is almost time. As the physically smaller competitor, you will be granted a 30-second head start. This is traditional in the arena. You may use this time to run, hide, or prepare yourself. Thank you, Jisoo said politely. Child, Nim said, bending down closer to her. His voice dropped to a whisper. There is no shame in surrender. Champion, Rock has never lost a match. He has defeated opponents 3 times your size. Jisoo looked into Nim's purple eyes. Has he ever fought a human before? No, Nim admitted. Humans are not known for combat skills. Your kind are diplomats, artists, and traders. Then this will be educational for everyone, Jisoo said. Nim's eyes widened slightly at her words. He stood up straight again and moved away, clearly confused by her confidence. A loud sound came from speakers in the ceiling. It was time to enter the arena. Jisoo took a deep breath and focused her mind as she had been taught. Her heart rate slowed, her senses sharpened. She could hear the excited crowd through the thick walls. She could smell the nervous sweat of the arena staff who thought they were sending a child to certain defeat. As the door to the arena began to open, Jisoo thought of her father watching from the stands. He would be worried and confused. He did not know about her training. Only a few hundred people on Earth knew about the program. It was one of humanity's best-kept secrets. The bright lights of the arena appeared ahead of her. The noise of thousands of alien voices grew louder. Jisoo walked forward, her steps steady and her face calm. Behind her, Rock followed, his heavy footsteps making the floor vibrate. It was time to show the galaxy that humans were not what they seemed. Jisoo walked through the long tunnel that led to the arena floor. The walls were made of smooth metal that reflected the blue lights above. She could hear the crowd getting louder with each step she took. The floor beneath her feet changed from metal to something that felt like stone but was not as cold. When she stepped out into the open arena, the noise hit her like a wave. Thousands of aliens from hundreds of different species filled the seats that rose high above the fighting area. The arena itself was a perfect circle about 100 feet across. The floor was made of black stone that shone like glass. Above, the ceiling was open to show the stars and the nearby blue gas giant planet that Proxima Station orbited. Jisoo looked around calmly. The arena had no places to hide, no weapons to grab, nothing but the smooth black floor. This was exactly what she had expected. Her training had prepared her for many different fighting areas, but open spaces like this were the most common in the galactic combat trials. The announcer's voice boomed across the arena. Entering from the East Gate, our challenger, from planet Earth, Kang Jisoo. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Many laughed or made sounds that showed they thought this was a joke. Some were quiet, perhaps feeling sorry for the human child. A few, mostly from species that looked similar to humans, called out words of support. Jisoo looked up at the huge screens that floated above the arena. One showed her father's face. He looked worried and angry. She wished she could tell him not to worry, but there was no way to communicate with the audience once you entered the arena. And from the West Gate, our 8-time champion, the pride of the Vectar Dominion, the undefeated warrior, Rock. The champion stepped out into the arena, and the crowd went wild. Rock raised all 4 of his arms, soaking in the cheers and praise. His hard skin caught the light, making him look like he was covered in armor. Sharp points stuck out from his elbows and shoulders, and his claws looked like they could cut through metal. Jisoo noticed that Rock had added new decorations to his natural armor since she had seen him in the preparation room. Red and gold paint marked his chest and face in patterns that showed his many victories. He truly looked like a warrior from an ancient time. Despite the advanced technology all around them, a floating drone moved to the center of the arena. This was the referee, a machine designed to watch the fight from all angles and make sure the rules were followed. It was shaped like a ball with dozens of small cameras sticking out in all directions. "Contestants, approach the center," the referee drone announced, its voice calm and without emotion. Jisoo walked forward, her step steady and even. Rock stomped toward the center, making small cracks appear in the black stone floor with each heavy step. When they reached the center, the size difference between them was clear to everyone. Jisoo barely came up to Rock's waist. One of his hands was bigger than her head. "The rules are simple," the referee drone said. "The combat trial ends when one contestant submits, is unable to continue, or when I determine a clear winner. Killing is not allowed. Serious permanent injury is not allowed. Both contestants have been scanned and are not carrying weapons." Jisoo and Rock both nodded to show they understood. The referee drone turned to Jisoo. "As the physically smaller contestant, you are granted a 30-second head start. You may use this time however you wish within the arena." "Thank you," Jisoo said politely. The drone turned to Rock. Champion, you must remain at this spot until the 30 seconds have passed. Do you understand? Rock made a sound that was half laugh, half growl. I understand. 30 seconds will make no difference. Up in the audience, Taeho watched with his heart pounding in his chest. He had received another message from Earth Command. Trust your daughter, watch carefully. What did they mean? How could he trust that his 10-year-old daughter would be safe against a creature 3 times her size with natural weapons and armor? And what was he supposed to watch for? The referee drone moved up and away from the center of the arena. The 30-second head start begins now. A large timer appeared on the screens above the arena, counting down from 30. The crowd began to chant with the numbers. 30, 29, 28. Jisoo did not run. She did not try to hide, though there was nowhere to hide anyway. Instead, she stood perfectly still, facing Rock. She closed her eyes for a moment, and her breathing became slow and even. 27, 26, 25. Rock watched her with confusion in his yellow eyes. He had expected the human child to run in fear or to cry. This calm behavior was not what he had prepared for. 24, 23, 22. In the stands, the Vectar officials who had come to watch their champion win easily began to whisper to each other. Something about the human child did not seem right. She was too calm, too composed for someone facing certain defeat. 21, 20, 19. Jisoo opened her eyes. She looked directly at Rock, studying his stance, the way he balanced his weight, the small movements of his forearms. She was memorizing everything about him, finding weaknesses that others would miss. 18, 17, 16. Taeho gripped the edge of his seat. Something about his daughter's face had changed. Her eyes looked different, more focused, more adult somehow. It reminded him of the way his wife Suna looked when she was concentrating deeply. 15, 14, 13. Nim, the Arcturian official, watched from the side of the arena with growing interest. The human child's behavior was unusual. Most beings given a head start would use it to put distance between themselves and their opponent, especially when facing someone as powerful as Rock. 12, 11, 10. Jisoo took one step forward, then another. She was moving toward Rock, not away from him. The crowd's counting faltered as confusion spread. Why would the human child move closer to danger? 9, 8, 7. Rock's eyes narrowed. He did not understand what was happening, but he did not like it. The human child should be afraid. Instead, she was walking toward him as if she had a plan. 6, 5, 4. Jisoo stopped just outside of Rock's reach. She took a deep breath and shifted her weight slightly, settling into a stance that most humans would not recognize. It was a fighting position developed specifically for humans facing larger opponents created by Earth's secret combat program. 3, 2, 1. The crowd's voice rose to a roar at the final count. Rock tensed, ready to lunge forward and end this fight quickly. He would grab the human child with his lower arms and hold her up for the crowd to see. It would be a quick victory and a clear message to Earth. Know your place in the galaxy. Begin, the referee drone announced. The timer on the screen reset to 0 and began counting up, measuring how long the fight would last. Most in the audience expected it to reach perhaps 10 or 15 seconds before the human child was defeated. They were wrong about the time, but not in the way they expected. The moment the referee drone announced begin, the entire arena seemed to hold its breath. The timer on the giant screens started counting. 0.01, 0.02, 0.03 seconds. Rock moved first, as everyone expected. His massive body lunged forward with surprising speed for his size. His lower right arm reached out to grab Jisoo while his upper arm spread wide, ready to block any attempt she might make to dodge to the sides. It was a move he had used many times before against smaller opponents. They would try to escape to the right or left, and his upper arms would catch them. No one had ever escaped this opening attack. Time seemed to slow down for Jisoo. Her special training had taught her how to make her mind work faster in dangerous situations. To her, Rock appeared to be moving in slow motion. She could see each muscle shifting under his armored skin, could predict exactly where his claws would be in the next split second. 0.27 seconds on the clock. Jisoo did not move right or left as Rock expected. Instead, she moved forward, stepping into the small gap between his reaching arms. This was something no opponent had ever done before. Moving toward Rock rather than away from him caught the champion completely by surprise. 42 seconds on the year clock. As she moved forward, Jisoo's right hand shot up with incredible speed. Her small fingers were held in a special position, with her first two fingers extended and the others folded back. This was the striking hawk position, developed specifically for targeting the weak points in vector anatomy. In the stands, Tai-ho watched in amazement as his daughter moved with a speed and precision that seemed impossible for a child, or for any human. The screen showing close-ups of the fight could barely keep up with her movements. 78 seconds on the clock. Jisoo's finger struck a spot just below Rock's neck, where there was a tiny gap in his natural armor. This spot was where the vector nervous system had a major junction point, something that only Earth's top scientist had discovered through years of secret research. It was knowledge that humans were not supposed to have. Rock's eyes widened in shock. His attack stopped mid-motion as his nervous system received an unexpected signal. He had never felt anything like this before. How could the human child know about that spot? How could her small fingers hit with such perfect accuracy? 1.12 seconds on the clock. The crowd was still cheering for Rock, not yet realizing what was happening. From most angles, it looked like Rock had simply paused before completing his attack. Only those with the best views could see that something was wrong. In the officials' box, Nim the Arcturian stood up suddenly, his forearms spreading in shock. He had never seen anyone target that spot on a vector before. It should not be possible for a human to know about it. 45 seconds on the clock. With her left hand, Jisoo delivered the second part of her attack. Her palm struck Rock's chest, but it was not a simple hit. The special training she had received included techniques to focus energy through specific points in the human body. When her palm made contact, a pulse of kinetic energy traveled through Rock's armor and into his body. This technique was called the Silent Thunder by Jisoo's trainers. It did not rely on physical strength, which humans lacked compared to many alien species. Instead, it used the precise application of energy to affect the target's internal systems. Seconds on the clock. Rock's body shuddered. The energy pulse disrupted the electrical signals in his nervous system, causing temporary paralysis. His forearms froze in midair. His legs began to lose their ability to support his weight. In the stands, the vector officials were now on their feet, their faces showing disbelief and anger. This was not supposed to happen. No one had ever defeated Rock so quickly, and certainly not a human child. 54 seconds on the clock. Jisoo stepped back, her movements still calm and controlled. She watched as Rock's massive body began to fall backward. His eyes were still open and aware, showing his confusion and shock. The paralysis would not harm him permanently. In about 1 hour, he would regain full control of his body. But for now, he was completely helpless. 8 seconds on the clock. Rock hit the black stone floor with a thunderous crash that echoed throughout the arena. The sound finally made the crowd realize what had happened. A wave of silence spread across the thousands of aliens watching the fight. No one cheered, no one booed. They simply stared in disbelief. 2 seconds on the clock. The referee drone zoomed down quickly, its cameras examining Rock from all angles. Its sensors detected that the champion was unable to continue the fight, but was in no medical danger. After a brief pause, the drone made its announcement. Champion Rock is unable to continue. Victory goes to the human contestant, Kang Jisoo, with a final time of 3.02 seconds. The timer stopped. The numbers 3.02 flashed on all the screens around the arena. Complete silence filled the massive space. Then slowly a murmur began to spread through the crowd. The murmur grew into confused talking, then into loud discussions and arguments. Some spectators were demanding explanations. Others were accusing the humans of cheating. A few were simply laughing at the unexpected outcome. Jisoo stood in the center of the arena, her small figure barely visible to those in the highest seats. She looked at Rock, who was still conscious but unable to move. She gave him a small bow, showing respect to a defeated opponent as her trainers had taught her. "How?" Rock managed to ask, his voice barely working through his translator. "How did you know?" Jisoo leaned down slightly so only Rock could hear her answer. "Humans have been studying all species since we joined the galactic community. We just never showed what we learned." In the officials' box, emergency meetings were already being called. The Vectar delegation was demanding an investigation. The human child must have used some hidden technology, they insisted. There was no other explanation for how she could have defeated their champion so quickly. Nim, the Arcturian official who had spoken to Jisoo before the fight, watched with growing concern. He had seen everything clearly from his position. The human child had used no technology, no hidden weapons. She had simply known exactly where and how to strike. This suggested that humans knew far more about other species than they had ever revealed. Medical drones floated down to the arena floor to check on Rock. They confirmed what Jisoo already knew. The champion was suffering from temporary neural disruption, but would recover fully. In the human section of the audience, Taeho sat frozen in his seat. The message from Earth Command now made sense. This had been planned, or at least prepared for. His daughter was part of something he had known nothing about. His own wife must have been involved. How many other secrets had been kept from him, an Earth ambassador? As Jisoo was escorted from the arena by security drones, the screens showed her face. She looked neither proud nor excited about her victory. She simply looked calm, as if she had completed a task she had been prepared for. The greatest fighting champion in the galaxy had been defeated by a human child in just over 3 seconds. And now everyone was wondering what other surprises humans might be hiding. The private shuttle moved quickly away from Proxima Station. Inside, Taeho sat across from his daughter Jisoo. The small ship had been waiting for them at a special dock, sent by Earth Command as soon as the fight ended. They had been escorted there by human security officers who appeared from nowhere, taking over from the station's regular security drones. "Are you hurt?" Taeho asked for the 3rd time since they had boarded the shuttle. "No, father," Jisoo replied calmly. "Rock never touched me." Taeho looked at his daughter as if seeing her for the first time. The child sitting before him was not who he had thought she was. Or perhaps she was still his daughter, but with hidden depths he had never known about. "How long have you been training?" he finally asked. 3 years, Jisoo said. "Since I was 7. Mother brought me to the program after they tested all children in my age group. Your mother knew about this, about whatever this is?" Taeho's voice rose slightly. He had been an ambassador for Earth for 12 years, but it seemed there were major secrets he had not been told. "Mother helped start it," Jisoo explained simply. "After first contact, when humans learned about the other species in the galaxy, she was part of the team that studied their biology." The shuttle's communication screen lit up, showing the face of a stern woman with short gray hair. Taeho recognized her as Admiral Chen, the head of Earth Command. He had met her only twice before at official functions. "Ambassador Kang, operative." "Kang, well done," Admiral Chen said. "The situation is developing as expected." "As expected?" Taeho could not keep the anger from his voice. "You expected my daughter to be chosen for combat by a Vectar champion?" Admiral Chen's face showed no emotion. "Not specifically, but we knew the Vectar Dominion was planning some form of public humiliation after the trade disputes. When your daughter was selected, we activated our response plan. You used my daughter as a tool," Taeho said. "I volunteered, father," Jisoo said quietly. "All of us in the program know we might be called to serve." Admiral Chen nodded. "Your daughter is one of our best young operatives, Ambassador. You should be proud." Taeho looked at Jisoo, who sat straight and calm in her seat. She was still wearing the white combat suit from the arena. She looked both like a child and not like a child at the same time. What happens now? Taeho asked. Now we deal with the fallout, Admiral Chen replied. The Galactic Council is calling an emergency session. The Vectar Dominion is formally protesting, claiming we used illegal technology. Several other species are demanding information about our training programs. On another screen in the shuttle, news reports from across the galaxy were playing silently. Each showed the same images. Jisoo defeating Rock in 3 seconds. The event was already becoming famous throughout known space. The time for hiding our capabilities has passed, Admiral Chen continued. Operation Gentle Reveal has been activated. What is Operation Gentle Reveal? Taeho asked. A plan created 20 years ago for the moment when humanity could no longer hide its true potential, Admiral Chen explained. We will now begin sharing some of our advancements with the galactic community, but carefully, without revealing. Everything at once. Jisoo spoke up. Admiral, did I show too much? The mission parameters said minimum effective level. Admiral Chen's face softened slightly when addressing Jisoo. You performed perfectly, Operative Kang. You demonstrated our capabilities clearly but did not reveal our most advanced techniques. The 3-second victory was exactly what we needed. Impressive enough to make a statement, but not so overwhelming as to cause panic. Taeho looked between his daughter and the Admiral, still struggling to understand everything. Why was I kept in the dark about all this? I am Earth's ambassador. And you have performed that role perfectly, Admiral Chen replied. Your genuine surprise and concern today helped sell the narrative. If you had known about your daughter's training, your reactions would not have been as convincing, Meiho fell silent thinking about the implications. For years he had been working to build relationships with other species, believing that humans were still catching up to the more advanced societies. Now he learned that Earth had been hiding its progress all along, playing a much deeper game than he had realized. The shuttle docked with a larger Earthship that had been waiting nearby. As they transferred to the bigger vessel, Taeho and Jisoo were met by a woman in a simple black uniform. It was Kim Suna, Jisoo's mother and Taeho's wife. You did well, Suna said to Jisoo, placing a hand on her shoulder. Then she turned to her husband. I am sorry you had to find out this way. How many others know? Taeho asked. How many humans are part of this secret? About 8,000, Suna replied. Scientists, trainers, operatives, and commanders, a small number compared to our total population. They moved to a conference room where a large screen showed the Galactic Council chamber. Representatives from all major species were gathered in an emergency session. The Vectar delegation was speaking, their translator converting their angry words into standard galactic language. The humans must explain how a child defeated our champion, the lead Vectar demanded. They must have used illegal technology. The camera moved to show the human representative, a calm woman named Director Park. She stood and addressed the council. We used no technology beyond the approved combat suit. The victory was achieved through training and knowledge. For 30 years, humans have been studying the biology of all galactic species while developing our own combat techniques. We kept these developments private, as is our right under Galactic Law Section 23, which states that no species is required to share all of its advancements. The council chamber erupted in noise as dozens of representatives began speaking at once. Some were angry, others curious, a few seemed impressed. This is just the beginning, Suna said as they watched. The balance of power is shifting today. Will there be conflict? Taeho asked, thinking of the possible dangers ahead. There might be, Suna admitted, but more likely, there will be a new respect for humans. Other species will want to trade with us for our knowledge rather than fight us for it. Jisoo had been quiet, watching the council proceedings with interest. Now she spoke. The Vectar will not forget this loss. They hold grudges for generations. True, Suna agreed, but they also respect strength. You showed them that today. As the family watched the council debate, messages began arriving from all over Earth. News of Jisoo's victory had reached their home planet, and billions of humans were learning for the first time about the secret programs that had been running for decades. Will I go back to regular school now? Jisoo asked suddenly, reminding everyone that despite everything, she was still a child. Sana smiled. For a while, yes, but things will be different. Everyone knows who you are now. Tai-ho looked at his daughter with new eyes. She had done something that would change human history. In 3 seconds, she had revealed a truth that had been hidden for 30 years. Humans were not the weak species everyone thought they were. I am proud of you, he said finally, even though I wish I had known. Jisoo smiled for the first time since the fight. Thank you, Father. On the screen, the Galactic Council continued to debate what the human revelation meant for the future. Old assumptions were being questioned. New alliances were already forming. The galaxy would never be the same. And it had all happened in just 3 seconds.